Hi, this is Steve with Coin Stuff I Like, bringing you another Ike Stuff I Like video, and this one will be sort of the final in this series that I've done recently on the first attributed peg leg Ike dollars at CACG grading. So I've put some prior videos starting with when the Ike peg legs were first produced in the Cherry Pickers Guide. This current volume were first presented there, and then followed that up with my discovery that CACG actually had them on their pop report. The population was zero at the time, but they had them listed, meaning they would attribute them. So I sent some in crossover, and I also sent some in raw in the same submission. And this final video is going to be the unboxing. They finally came back. They came back actually about a week ago, and I've been busy doing other things, and I've been eager to get this video done and actually unbox these things. I haven't looked at them, although I know the grades and such, but I haven't actually opened the boxes. And please join me in the unboxing of these peg leg Ikes, the first ones attributed by CACG grading. And then after I unbox them, I'm going to run them through the scope really quick to show you the peg legs on these. And then lastly come back for a few summary slides with additional information like what was the grades for the crossovers, and that resulted in the CACG grade. So stick around and we'll cover all that in this video. All right, here they are, and two boxes. I submitted the crossovers and the raw peg legs or coins in one submission. I mailed them all in at the same time, but they graded them and sent them back separately, a couple of days apart. So two boxes with the raw and the crossovers in raw. I know that because of I know the date from these. So let's go ahead and I've unboxed them from the exterior boxing, but this is what they come from with CACG. These are cardboard boxes as opposed to the plastic that you get with PCGS or NGC. And let's get a blade. All right, so let's see. We're going to open this up here. And there. Same thing on this side. And let's get to opening. I'll start with this one, if I can. Is it opened? There we go. Tight seal. All right, so these are all the crossovers, and then again, tight seal. And this one has this one from this box. These are the PCGS labels, and technically, what I should be doing is taking these and sending them into PCGS. These were all crossed over from non-attributed holders, so I probably won't. Maybe I will. I'm not sure. So this one here is the raw submission, and there is one in the back, which is a body bag basically. I'll open that one first. This one is a 77D, and supposedly this one here, according to what they had to say, this one here had PVC. So we'll check that out under the scope. But this one, I asked them not to hold their details coins, and the fact that I only got one details out of this raw submission was a pleasant surprise, because CACG is pretty tough that way. So we'll look at that one under the scope, but let's start taking a look at these here. All right, so I'll take this foam out, and then let's get going and look at these guys. So this is a 71D MS 63. And I submitted another crossover 71D. This one came back as 64 plus. The reason is that there are two stages for this particular die. They have the peg leg, and maybe I'll be able to show that on the scope. All right. Next one is a 64 1971S, so silver business strike. Now this CACG has been stickering these for years. I've got a number of them myself, but this is the first one that was graded by CACG and of course attributed as a FS401, and it's the 71S silver business strike. We'll see that one under the scope. And then the 72 Type 1. So this is Philadelphia mint, and it's a Type 1, which we'll get on the scope. We'll show you that. This one here, MS62. All right. Next, 72D. This one here is a MS64, and again we'll show it to you under the scope. $74D. Now, as I'm showing you these are, of course, they're the first attributed, but for some of these, there's maybe only one die that from a date and mint mark that resulted in a peg leg, and others there might be, 3 or 4 or 6. And I only wanted to get this started. Eventually, I'll submit all the other die variants, individual die variants with peg legs. It's a 74D, and here is a 77D. This is a crossover. It was in a 58 holder from PCGS, but now it's in a CACG 58 holder. It's a nice looking coin for 58. It's a peg leg, and this is, you know, pretty hard to find 77Ds. So I submitted that one. And then the last one from the crossover is this 78D, which got a 64. Nice grade, tough to find 78 peg legs. 78D, I should say. If you find a 78 Philly peg leg, you got a unique peg leg. They don't have them. There's no 78 Philly peg legs. All right, from the raw, so this one here is the only coin that I submitted that was not a peg leg. This one is a 71S, graded out as MS62. I didn't think it was going to get a high grade, but it is a repunch mint mark, and I'll show you that under the scope. This one did not attribute as a FS 501. Well, there are two repunch mint mark 19, at least two that end up getting graded as FS 501s. Two Tide varieties of repunch mint mark. And technically, one is a FS 501, and the other one would be a FS 502. Over PCGS, they all end up in the same holder. In fact, if you do, and I have done a survey of images of PCGS FS 501s from their true views, etc., and most of them are FS 502s, not FS 501. So FS 501 is much harder to find. I submitted this one as a FS 502, and I was hoping to get an FS 501 holder, and they were pretty sharp. So they're pretty stickler on that attribution. All right, so that's only non-peg legs. Getting back to the peg legs, there is my 76s. Now, I didn't have a crossover 76 that I wanted to submit. I have 76D Type 1 peg legs in PCGS holders, but I didn't want to send any of them in. I wanted to keep those. So I submitted some raw, and this one came back as a 62. And we'll see that under the scope. The next one, so I sort of shotgunned it with the 76D type 1s. They all got attributed, but I want to shotgun it to see if I can get a decent grade on any of them, or at least similar to the other ones. So this one here is a 63, which is now sort of fits in with the other ones. And then I submitted two more, and this one is a 58. Keep in mind that 76 Type 1s, whether they're 76D, 76 Philly, the Type 1, they're all peg leg by design. These are oak off at the knee peg legs, meaning they're even shortened from the original design. So they're further advanced peg legs. And they're attributing these. And there's a 58. That's 76D Type 1. And another 58. All right, so that doesn't hurt my feelings. Like I said, I just pulled them out of tubes. I've got many tubes of peg legs because I study them for the dye varieties, and someday I'll sell off the ones that I've already used for studying. So it doesn't hurt my feelings. I pulled them out. I looked at them. I go, oh, maybe he has a chance of getting an MS. But what I was looking for, more importantly, submitting to CACG, is I was looking for ones that would likely straight grade. And as I mentioned earlier, the only one that did not straight grade was at 77D, which apparently has PVC, and that's fine by me. I managed to get them all straight graded. The next series, there's two more, 77D, and this one here came back as an AU58, just like that crossover, AU58. And as I said, 77D peg legs to get a good grade on, that's pretty hard. And then I managed to get one in MS, a 77D MS61, so it fits with the crossover 61s and that 76D type 1 that made 63. So I'm really happy that that made MS. And now let's take a look at them under the scope. All right, so let's take a look here. This is the 71D that made 63, and there is the peg leg. The next one is the a 71D as well, 64 plus. And there is the peg leg. Let me focus that a little bit. There we go. They're different die states. I mean, they have the same mint mark placement basically. There's the mint mark placement. Just look at the orientation relative to the 7. And there's further lines that you can do, but just for today. And you can see different abrasion marks, but same mint mark placement. This one here has one talon head clash, which, let me see, there it is under that scratch or that mark. Let's see, right there at the temple. There it is. Single. Now look at the eye, look at the pupil. There's a lot of dye abrasion there. And then this one here actually has a faint hint of a second talon head clash, but the eye is even more abraded. So anyway, I'll do more diagnostics on it later, but for the purpose of this video, I'm just showing you the peg legs. Next one in the box is the 71S, and this is the FS 401 silver peg leg. And oh, by the way, it's 64. And there is the peg leg. Let me get that, rotate the light around. There it is. You can see that the foot of the vertical and the R is no wider than when it joins with where the crossbar is. So it's been abraded away. And I'm not sure, let me see. Yeah, this one, there's multiple die varieties of the, there's four different peg leg silver 1971 silver business strikes, and 2 of them frequently end up in FS 401 holders over at PCGS. Actually, all 4 of them have, but this one here, the key die marker is the double die obverse. So take a look there. You can see at the bottom of the O and the G and the D, and then of course the T in trust, first T in trust. But GOD, you can usually see it right there as most pronounced. At the bottom, you see those the doubling furrows there. And you can also see at the top of the loops, the top of the G loop and the O loop and the D loop. So that's a specific die marker that goes in addition to this to help to distinguish between the different peg leg 1971S silver business strikes. The next one in the box, these are the crossovers again. The next one is the 1972 Type 1 MS62. And there's only one die of the 1972 Type 1. There it is. And basically no serifs on this one. And you can see a little bit of a doubling down there at the foot. See the right side of the base of the foot, a little notching in that where the serif once was. You can see the field bending there at the top of the head, leading up to the R. It's sort of like darker shadowed right now because of the light orientation, but it's that die abrasion work is what resulted in the peg leg. And again, there's only one of these, one of that type. Let me see, 72D. And this is an MS64. There's a number of die varieties or peg leg dies, but that one you can clearly see is a peg leg. Note the field bending again as I bring this through. That essentially is from the head up to the R, all the way to the crossbar of the R, resulting in that peg leg. Next one in the box, this is again in the crossover box. This is a 74. 74D, MS64, and there that is. In 73, they changed the design, the obverse design, and the serifs look different. They're a little narrower on the left and more bulky on the right of the foot of the R, but these are basically gone. There's essentially a peg leg R. Again, note the field bending. That die work, where they abraded dies from clashes and such, that die work essentially is what resulted in the peg leg from what was originally a serif R die, working die. Next is a 77D, and this one was a 58, if I remember. Yeah, 77D, AU58. There that is. Serifs are gone. All right. We may come back to that when we look at some of the other. And this is the 78D MS64. Again, rotate the light around. Peg leg. Die abrasion. Lots of die abrasion up there on the top. So that's the crossover box. Moving into the raw submission. This was the 1971S silver business strike. It got MS62. I wasn't expecting to get a high grade at all. But this was the only non-peg leg that I submitted. This is what those are what serifs look like in 1971. Those really broad serifs. This is for the silver business strike and the D and P mint marks from 1971. Look how wide those, just a really broad, wide set of serifs at the base of that R. But this one I submitted because of it's a repunch mint mark, and I was hoping to get it in FS 501. It really is an FS 502. If I get the light right, you see the upper left, the northwest corner of the loop of that S, you can sort of see the remnants of the former mint mark. So, and as I bring it across there, you can see it there. So this is a repunch mint mark, but it's not the true FS501. As I mentioned, this would probably make it into an FS501 holder at PCGS, but certainly did not make it here at CACG. Okay, back to the peg legs. All right, so this is a series of 76D type 1 off at the knees peg legs. Remember, all 76 type 1s, that includes P and D mint mark, as well as the silver business strikes and the silver proof from 1976 dated. Those all were type 1, and they all had a peg leg R by design. So this one is further abrasion, creating an off at the knees effect, and this is an MS62. This one here, so that the foot of the R usually comes down closer to the head. It did not have serifs, but now it's foreshortened, and this is an off at the knees peg leg. 76D type 1. Here's another one. This is this MS63. MS63. Same thing. You can see that it's foreshortened there. Some die abrasion back at the top of the head. Little field bending. There at the top of the head, a lot of die abrasion. Next one is another 76D, and it's a type 1. This one made 58. This is the first of the 258s. But look at this one is even further than the other ones. This one has really foreshortened base of the R. So really nice. Even though it's 58, it's really nice foreshortened peg leg. 76D, another 58, a type 1, and another pretty nice peg leg. If you look at a 70, I wish I had one here for this video, a 76D type 1 that is a non-peg leg. It's still a peg leg, but it's more robust and comes closer to the head. This one's further abraded, so off at the knees designation. A couple more 77Ds in this raw submission. This was the 58, and there is the peg leg. Made peg leg, you can see some bare remnant of it, but that is enough to qualify as a peg leg, in my opinion, and also CACG's opinion. So there that one is. I'm going to leave that one out for a second, come back to it. And then the one that, the 77D that got MS61. Peg leg. Now I got to go back because there's two die varieties, or two dies that bear peg legs from the 77D. I'll have to do a little bit of an inspection, but this one here, I'm going to, there's other die markers, but look at the E in we, and there's a die clash that occurs right there, an upside down U from pluribus, upside down U that occurs there, and they braid that out. And this one here, let me get that other 77D out. This one here, we can look at this one, and that one's nearly all gone. And then also the eye is pretty significantly abraded. This 58, you can see, is an earlier stage. Look, the E is mostly there. Notice there's a little die crack up there in the neck, almost forming a cud, but our internal die break basically. So maybe that's what they're abrading. But this one here, you can see the E is, yeah, it's a little bit lost in that upper crossbar. But then as you go to, let's see, which one is which? You go to this one, it's lost pretty considerably compared to the last one, that crossbar. The eye, you can see more of the pupil here than the next one. And then here's the last one, and you can see that the E is, the crossbar of the E is mostly gone. And the pupil of the eye is a little bit more abraded. So there you have the peg legs. I'm just going to do one more quick glance. This is the one. That 77D that failed to make a holder because of PVC. And you can pick up some issues down around the 7. And if I flip it over, there, it's hard to capture here, but there's some fogginess in here. So 2020 hindsight, yeah, that one is a details coin. Thankfully, I asked them not to hold their details coins because the CACG holders, from what I understand, are very, very difficult to crack open. And so there you have it. Let's get back to slides for a few more points and then a summary. So there you have it. Those are the coins. And now if you go to the CACG population report, where there was once a listing for each of the FS 401s for each date and mint mark that's applicable, and there was no population. Now you see a population. The CACG pop report, in case you're not familiar with it, has the stickered and then graded. So this is from CAC sticker. This is from CACG grading. And so those are the coins from this submission of both crossovers as well as raw submission. And here are the cert IDs. I wanted to get them out there because they are the first, and you can see each one of them. And there's a few of them like the crossover of the 77D, AU58, and then the raw that I submitted was an MS61, so that one would go in that place. Although there are two different dies with 77D peg legs, and at the time of this video, I'll have to go back and look at them to discern whether I submitted two of one die type or two separate, in which cases I expand this out over time and have representations of all the different dies for each date and mint mark. Then that'll be included, of course. And then the 76 D type 1s, which I only submitted raw. I didn't have crossovers. I didn't want to submit my PCGS 76D type 1 for one reason or another. I did not want to do that. I submitted some raw coins, and this 63 will fit nicely with some of these other MS, low MS coins. And this one here, as I made note, this one here was not a peg leg submission. This was for an FS 501 repunch mint mark, and it didn't grade because this one I knew it to be a RPM 1971S business strike RPM, but it was the second die variety, and it looks like CACG is going to be strict on that one because this one would have made it into an FS 501 holder at PCGS. So there, we'll cover that in another video sometime, but there you have it. And now as you're looking at them, you're going, hey, Steve, you're giving us the CACG grades. What were the PCGS grades? How did they cross over? All right, that's a fair question. And here we have it. So everyone dropped a grade. I mean, CACG is known to be a hard grader, and it looks like with the FS 501s are going to be a stickler on the die, the specific die variety of repunch mint mark. But you can look, every one of these graded out lower than the PCGS grades. This one sort of, yeah, I'm a little irked at that one. I expected them to drop grades. In fact, when I made my submission, I put in minimum grades for these, and the minimum grades were generally at least one, if not two grades lower. So I'd get a graded coin back. But this one here, yeah, I was sort of hoping that would get a 63. These others all sort of, as expected, dropped a grade. The 77D was 58 in PCGS holder and ended up 58. But everything else dropped a grade. This one a half grade, basically, from a plus to a 65 to a 64 plus. But that one here, I sort of wish that one at least made a 63. And these were all submitted raw, so I'm actually happy that they came back pretty good. Only one was a details, and I asked them to not holder a details coin. This one had PVC, according to them, had PVC, and so it would have been a details coin, and it was not holdered. So there you have it. A drop grade, so I probably lost a little value there. None of these have current values that are higher than what I paid for grading. So there's a little loss of money on my part, but I didn't care because I wanted these to be the first graded, and I wanted to get the ball rolling. This is the first time, other than the 71S FS 401, other than that, this is the first time that peg leg Ikes can be attributed by any third-party grading company. So I wanted to get the ball rolling, and hopefully, besides having the first, get the interest generated, maybe get the other third-party companies to follow suit and start attributing FS 401s for these dates and mint marks. And the other reason, which will take a little time, is that if you look, for example, the 71S silver peg leg. Now this is mine right here. These are all stickered, and for example, these are 66s here. So the 69, 68, or 67, 68, 69, 66. These two are stickered. There's no graded 66s, but I have both of those stickered FS401s in CACG holders. And you can see that this one here is also mine right here because I have the only graded silver FS401. Well, I put this up here because this is the other reason, besides being first, besides sort of getting the ball rolling for getting these things attributed by third-party companies, is that hopefully, as these start getting populated, they're going to be included in registry sets. And when they get included in registry sets, then that creates a little bit of premium because the higher end registry owners want to have those coins in the registry set to fill out the registry set. So what happens is, besides awareness, once it gets into a registry set, you start creating premiums. Now, all of the coins that I have carry, most of them, of the clad ones, they're virtually no premium over the base at this point in time. But look at this one, the FS 401 1971S peg leg, and they have some premiums. And I put the PCGS price guide up here as well. So you can see that okay, over at PCGS, a 66 has almost a 10x, about a 9 to 10x, a premium from base to the variety. 65, you have about a 3x or almost a 4x. And 64, you can see also, well, at least a 3x, 3.5x, and down the line. And so there's a premium that is created because PCGS has a registry set for Ikes, and for Ike varieties, the FS401 is included, as is the FS501, the replenishment mark. With CACG, that will happen as well. If there's a registry set developed, then that'll drive premiums. Now, this one here, FS401, it's about a 10x, about a 10x in 66, about a 4 to 5x 65, and so on. So having these things graded, having them in the pop report, and hopefully eventually they find their way, the clads, into a larger registry set, whether it's specifically for peg legs or whether it's for varieties, Ike variety registry set. That will begin to drive premiums. So, of course, that's going to take time, and I'm willing to sit on my first attributed coins and keep my fingers crossed that eventually I get close to recouping the fees that I paid for attribution and grading. So there you have it. That's put a bow on it. That's the end of the first attributed peg leg Ike dollar series. Here are some examples. Really, thank you for watching. Remember, buy stuff you like, but be smart about what you buy and what you pay for grading. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.